Hello everyone, in this video we are going to discuss about Python and MySQL interfacing. Means we have to run SQL commands by using Python scripts. So generally what is the need for Python MySQL interfacing? In real-time web applications you have to manipulate, sometimes you have to manipulate the data stored in the databases by using our applications, means by using the high level programming like Python and remaining other like Java, whatever the other programs are there. At many times you may need to access the data stored in the database into your web applications. In that case you have to interface your high level language to the database. So that's why we have to learn this concept. So for making interface Python with MySQL, what we have to do? The very first step is just you have to open the Python program. After that you have to import the necessary packages. So generally these packages contain some predefined modules or functions. By using that you can make your task more easier. Next, third step is you have to establish a connection between your Python program and your MySQL database server. That is the third step. After establishing the connection, then you have to create one object, that is the cursor object, means that is also called as cursor instance. By using that cursor instance, in fifth step you can run the MySQL commands. After executing the command, that result will be stored in the result set object. In sixth step you have to extract the result stored in the result set object, and you have to extract and you have to display, or you can use as per your necessity. At last you have to close the connection when you don't need longer. Simple. So for running, means for writing Python scripts for MySQL connectivity, first you have to install one package. The package name is MySQL connector. So what do this package contain? It contains some different predefined functions. By using that you can easily perform different database operations. Means for making a connectivity between Python and MySQL, means SQL, this function will be very helpful. So how to install? So here in command window you have to type pip space install space MySQL-connector. So let's see. Open command pip install MySQL connector. Make sure that your computer is connected to the internet. Here it is showing that requirement is already satisfied, means that package has been already installed in my computer, so doesn't need to worry. If it is not installed, it will be downloaded from internet and it will be installed. So this is the step we have to follow. After that you have to get into the program. So here these four functions are very important for performing SQL operations for running SQL commands in Python. The very first one function is there, connect. By using this function you can make, or you can establish the connection between Python program and SQL server. Next, by using the cursor function you can create the cursor object. Using that object you can execute the MySQL commands. After that, after executing the MySQL commands, results will be stored in the result set object. Those results will be retrieved by using these fetch functions: fetch all, fetch one, fetch many. Fetch all means it fetches all rows, means all records from the result set. Fetch one means it fetches one record at a time from the result set. Fetch many means here you have to give one parameter, that is the integer parameter. For suppose in fetch many, if I give the parameter as 4, it fetches 4 records, means as many number of records you want. So by using these functions you can do all the basic operations. So let's get into the Python programming. So for Python database connectivity, what we have to do? First open the idle open new file. So here the very first step already I told that you have to import the necessary packages. Import MySQL connector, NAC connector, MySQL connector. So for this you can give some name, alias name. So every time you can't write the MySQL connector, so here you have to write MySQL dot connector, not hyphen, MySQL dot connector. This is the very basic step. After that, your next step is you have to establish a connection. So that connection should be stored in one object, connection equal to MQ. This is the MySQL connector. This is the module name, myq dot. What is the function name I told for establishing the connection? Connect. So in this you have to specify some parameters. Host means it is a computer where do your database exist. So here by default we are specifying localhost, means in my present your computer, means the where you are running the Python program, that is called as the localhost, means your current computer. So for suppose your MySQL database is stored in some other computer, then you can give that computer IP address, that is the host. After that, user means that is the username for MySQL. Generally by default it will be root. I didn't make any change. For suppose if you change your SQL username, then you can give the username. And after that you have to specify password. So password, by default password is root. I didn't change. If you have changed any of your password, just you can specify. And after that you have to specify the database, means on which database you are operating. So let us see, MySQL default password is root. Show databases. So for suppose here use exp is one database, show tables. Yeah, here one database is there, or else there is one database is there, school. You can use that school tables. Student. Yeah. So in this database already tables are also there. I want to use the database school, SCHOOL. So I am establishing a connection. I am trying to establish a connection after this statement. Now I want to check that whether connection is successful or not. For that one function is there, if connection object dot is underscore connected. This is the function. By using that you can check that whether connection is successful or not. So print connection established, else you can write print error in connection. After your work is over, at the end you have to close the connection. Now run. So before running that you have to save your program and practical database. It is showing the message connection established. For suppose there is some error, like I entered the password as wrong. Now try to run. It is showing some error. Now it is working fine. I gave the wrong database name. Again it is showing some error. So instead of using this function also, in simple manner you can write, connection established. Because in Python already we know that if current line executes successfully, then only it will go to the next line, because here you are working on interpreter. So if you come to the interpreter, the current line has been executed successfully, then only it moves. So that doesn't need to write the if condition, simply you can keep it like this, connection established. It will show you the message connection established. Now everything is fine. Now what is the next step? I have to create the cursor object. cursor object connection dot. For that I have to use the function cursor. See that here connect function should be called with MySQL connector, and cursor object should call with the object connection object. Cursor function should call with the object connection object. Now it has been done successfully. Now cursor object is also ready. Now you can execute the MySQL queries by using cursor object. cur dot. For executing the MySQL commands, means not MySQL, SQL commands, there is one function execute. By using this function only you can run your MySQL commands. So assume that I want to display the data from this table student. Select star from student. I want to do this. So how to do? Simply write select star from student. So here this whole SQL query should be in the string type. Now run. It is not showing an error, means every line has been executed successfully. Now here SQL query has been executed. Here what are the output you are seeing here? This whole data, Ravi, some data HJ, JHL and Kumar. These three records will be fetched, and those records are stored in the result set object. Now how to get that result set object? For that, by using the cursor object, you have to fetch. Then data will be retrieved from the result set object. Result. So this is the final result. In this result variable, this data will be fetched from result set and it will be stored in the res variable. Now just try to print res. You can see that. So if you carefully observe that here data has been fetched in the form of lists. So this is the list, and so here inside that it has been represented in the form of tuple. Means each row will be taken as one tuple and whole table data is represented in the form of list. Means in a list each item is one row from the database, and that row is represented in the form of tuple. If you see this, you can clearly understand. Now if you know the list, you know how to display element by element. So how? For k in, now res data type is list data type. Now print k. Now here it is a list, res is a list. This list contain list elements. What are the list elements here? Each row in the table will be one list element. So here k means one row from the table. See that? Now you can display the data in row by row. So this is how you can retrieve data from the database and you can display. For suppose you want to display this data in the tabular format, for that simply you can download, you can import one package is there. So here one thing is there, just include that yeah. So this is the tablet module is there, so that can be imported and it can be kept here. So just keep the tablet. From tablet, import tablet and remove all the things and print, call the function tablet. Inside that keep the result. Now data is represented in the form of table clearly. You doesn't need to give any formatting, automatically it will be given by using that tabulate function. So this is how you can retrieve the data from the table and you can display on the screen. And for suppose now I want to insert data into the table. I want to insert data into the table. So how to do? So now here up to here everything is same. Here command should be changed. So here when do you use the fetch all function? When the command is generating any output. So if you observe all SQL commands, only select command only will generate the output. And remaining commands will not generate any output, means will not show anything on the screen. So these things doesn't need at all for remaining all the SQL queries. So whenever you are using the select function, at that time only you have to do. Now I want to insert some data into the table. Insert into same, what are the syntax you are using in the SQL, same thing can be used here. Insert into student values. After that, what is the first one? Roll number, name, marks, mobile number. So first one is roll number 23, name Arjun, then marks 67, and mobile number something here written, and close this. Now run this program. So it is not showing an error, means it executed successfully. Now try to see that, but the data is not reflected here. So I try to insert the Arjun details, but it is not reflected here. So for this what we have to do? So here we have to commit the connection. Commit, then only changes will be made as permanent. Now see that now it is not showing any error, and you can see that Arjun data has been reflected here. So whenever you commit the connection, so commit is one function. If you run this command, what are the changes you made, that will be permanent in the database in this connection. So you have to keep the commit statement. So after that you can keep one message, print inserted record successfully. You can keep one message. See, if all the above statements executed successfully, then only this print function will be executed. Now instead of Arjun, I want to insert some other student. 267 76, and I have written Mahesh, and roll number is 29. Now see that it is showing the message inserted record successfully. Now if you open and if you run the SQL command, here Mahesh data has been also updated here. So this is how you can insert records to the database. But here sometimes we may have to take input from the user. In this case, how we can do? So here one more option is there. Actually here if you carefully observe that whole thing can be a string, so you can keep it in another variable. That is for your convenience, it is not mandatory. Like that also you can write. So here you can keep the whole SQL command in string format to one variable. Just here pass that variable name. So now previous one and this one both are same, both will give the same type of result. Now let us see that now I want to take input from the user. So what I want to take? Roll number, name, marks, and phone number. Roll input I want to take. Enter roll number I want to take from the user, and name equal to input enter name, and after that marks input enter marks, and last one phone number equal to input enter phone number. So in previous case these are the values, that's why you have inserted directly, but in this case these values are stored in the variable. Now this value should be replaced in this position, but when do you come to know these values? When the program is running, whenever user entered those values, then only those values will be known. Until that those values are unknown. So until then these values are not known to the computer. So what we have to do? So here temporarily you can keep the placeholders, means those values are not known, means those values which can be given by the some other variables. So these are the placeholder, means this value will be replaced during program execution. First one is roll number, so normal placeholder. How many placeholders you need? 1 2 3 4, means these 4 values will come dynamically when the program is running through the variables. So if you carefully observe that among all the 4, one is string, remaining is integer. For the string one, what is the string? Second one is the name. For that placeholder, keep in single quotes. Now put dot format. So here you have to specify the variable names. In first placeholder, what you want to send? Roll number, comma. In second one you want to send name. In third one I want to send marks. In fourth one I want to send phone number. And that's it. So here query will be constructed and that query will be passed to the function execute and it can be committed. Now run. Enter the roll number 26, name Srinivas, enter marks 83 and phone number 98. Inserted record successfully. Now run the SQL command and you can see that here. Srinivas record has been inserted successfully. So this is the way you can read the data from user and it can be inserted to the database. Actually here I am taking input from Python program, but I am storing the results in the database. For suppose you want to read the 10 student details, simple, here up to here keep the statements in for loop or while loop, so that continuously it has to enter the number of students. This is how you can insert data into the database. Next, inserting is also over. For suppose I want to delete some student data. So whenever you want to delete any student data, for that you need one command. That command name is delete. The command name is delete. Same as SQL command, delete from, what is the table name? Student. If I write this command like this, it deletes all records from the table. So but here I want to delete specific student. On which basis I want to delete? I want to delete based on the roll number, where roll equal to. Here I have to give the roll number, but I want to take the roll number from the user. Roll. So but that roll number will be known during program execution. That's why temporarily I can keep the placeholder here dot format. So here what are the value given in the roll number, that will be stored in the value here. After that this value will be passed to the placeholder. Now here insert or not, here you can keep deleted. Deleted record successfully. Now run. It asks you to enter the roll number. So let us see one roll number here, 15. I entered the roll number 15. It shows that deleted record successfully. Now run and see that here 15 roll number is there. Now 15 roll number is not there. For suppose I want to delete based on some criteria, the students whose marks are above 70, those values should be deleted. Above 70 those marks should be, means marks cut off. जिसका मार्क्स 70 से ज़्यादा है उनको डिलीट करना है. So that's my target. Upper limit of marks. So here condition should be where what I have to do, जिसका मार्क 70 से ज़्यादा है, where marks greater than. So here I should get the marks. So here what are the value entered by the user, what are the marks entered by the user, those marks will be stored in the variable, that value should come here, so that here I have to keep the name as marks. So what are the values stored in the marks will come here, means delete from stored where marks greater than what are the value given by the user. Now run. I have given 70. Deleted record successfully. Now see that. So here Mahesh and Srinivas data has been deleted by using that command. So this is how you can delete data from the table. And one more thing left, update. So select हो गया, insert हो गया, delete हो गया. Next one is update. So update. So update means, for suppose enter roll number to search and roll, and for suppose I want to update the marks of the student, equal to input enter marks to update. So here what I have to do, I want to update. So what is the syntax for update? Update table name set marks equal to, so these are the new marks, these are the new marks. So whose students data I want to update, where roll number equal to roll, for suppose 15 or 19, roll number equal to 19. So instead of this one I can give the roll number also. So this is the normal command, but here I am giving the marks and roll number dynamically, so that keep the placeholders here, keep the placeholders. Now so among all the placeholders, two placeholders are there. So what should be the first one, marks, so that's why keep the marks variable here. What should be the second placeholder, that should be the roll number, just keep the roll number. Now run. Enter the roll number to search, I entered 17. Enter the marks to update, 58. Here I have given the I left the previous command. Updated record successfully. Now run, see that roll number 17 marks, earlier roll number 17 marks 60, now roll number 17 marks 58. Now let's try with urgent 23. Run. Enter the record to search, roll number 23. I entered the marks 80. Updated record successfully. Now earlier urgent marks are 67, now urgent marks 80. This is how you can update records in the database. Actually these are the basic operations for performing different Python MySQL database connectivity programs. So I think by using this much, by knowing this much, by learning, so you can start doing basic Python MySQL database connectivity projects also according to the CBSE class 12 syllabus. So still if you have any doubts in these topics, please ask me, I will clarify. And that's all about Python MySQL and connectivity.